It don't look like we got anybody on yet, but showing 0 viewers so far. But I guess we can go ahead and get started with everything. Hello, everybody. We're going to do our pre-tournament kind of broadcast with some information regarding Neely Henry tournament, and just touch on some things to expect. This year, kind of clarify uh, disqualifications and stuff for what Division Two. I think most everybody's call we've got clarified so far, but just in case somebody that hasn't reached out, maybe they'll get some information from this, kind of about how that goes and what disqualifies you, and or to be eligible to fish in the Division Two. But I'll let you go ahead with kind of what you got.
First thing I want to say is give a big thanks to the city of Southside, Mayor Dana Snyder. Want to recognize the Park and Rec Director, Michael Weldon, for having us back again this year at Neely Henry to kick off our 2024-2025 tournament trail season. We'll be at Southside Landing again for weigh-ins. I want to thank our annual host sponsors, which again will be City of Southside, Alpha Plumbing and Restoration with Mr. D, Elmore County Economic Development Authority and Lisa Van Wagner, Cherokee Chamber of Commerce, Joey Perry. Then for the championship next November, I want to thank Rainbow City and Mayor Taylor, and again, City of Southside and Mayor Snyder for the 2-day championship next November there at Neely Henry. Our annual sponsors, I want to thank ACC Crappie Sticks, ATX Lures, Cole and Sons LLC, HH Rod and Reels, Coastal Alabama Community College, Outlaw Crappie Poles, First National Bank of Pulaski, Tennessee. I want to thank our product sponsors, Pops Jigs, HH Rod and Reels, ATX Lures, and Outlaw Crappie Poles. Want to hit on a few things um, that people have questions. It's in the rules. It's on the Facebook page. Today, I put it as a post because some people couldn't find it for all of the rules, but just a few I want to hit on. To qualify for next year's state championship, you must fish in 3 of the 5 qualifiers. The reason it's 3 is turnout is huge for our host sponsors and our financial sponsors and our product sponsors. I mean, without all of those people, we'd be just another club trail paying winnings just based on the entry fees. So we got to fish in 3 of the 5 qualifiers. Angler of the year this year will count the top 4 finishes. If you fish 5, you count just the top 4. If you fish 4, those 4 will count. The youth angler of the year, we only going to count the top 3 finishes because sometimes it's hard to get the kids there for every tournament. If you start fishing in Division One, you cannot move down to Division Two this year. Last year we was just experimental with Division Two, and I don't even know if we had nobody move down last year, but I just want to make it clear you can't move down. If you start in Division Two, you can move up, but during the season, but your points do not go with you. So if you won 2 tournaments and had 200 points and you wanted to move to Division One, you would actually start with 0 points. Now your tournaments you fish would count as your 2 of your qualifiers if you had fished in 2 and moved up. Just you can't carry your points for Angler of the Year race. Like I said again, the turnout to some of these people is very crucial, especially the host locations, because they have to answer to their taxpayers where the money's going and why they gave us money to come there. Um, I want to say people's asked about what do you got to do to qualify to fish Alabama Crappie Trail. You do not have to be a resident of the state of Alabama to fish. You live in Tennessee, Texas, wherever. You welcome to come pay your membership and fish. Division one is open to anyone. There's no regulations as long as you follow the rules. Division two does have some restrictions, and they are if you finished in the top 10 of Alabama Crappie Trail 2023-2024 season, if you fished in any Mr. Crappie Invitationals, if you finished in the top 20 of any national trail point standings, that's Crappie Masters, the NCL, Crappie USA Pro Division, or you want a combined total of $5,000 in the last 2 years, and we looking say November of 22 up to the present, November of 2024. Um, Something I want to hit on for the future, starting in January of 2026, the season will start in January through June. We'll have 5 qualifiers during that time frame. It may be January through May and leave June open if we was to have a cancellation for inclement weather or something, we could make it up. We're going to try to have an open invitational every year in September of every year. We'll try to have that again next year. The championship from the future after 26 will be November of every year. We're going to have a open invitational September of 25. The date, the location will be announced soon. Um, it'll be one division. Everybody can come and fish it. Don't have no membership to pay. Anybody out of state, in state. Division two qualifications in 26, we'll be adding a few things. I know we're going to add, if you win Angler Team of the Year, you'll have to move up and possibly, if you finish second, we haven't decided that yet, but we'll have that added to the current qualifications. This Friday, you got to be off the water by 4:30. I think it may say 4 on there, but at least by 4:30 because that's what the rules state. We may do those according each month as the days get longer. But this Friday, be off the water at 4:30. We will have registration, membership, waiver signings at City Hall. They got a room we're going to set up in at City Hall to do that between 5 and 6. We'll have a rules meeting for the ones that's there at 6, release shortly after. Saturday morning, uh, live well checks. Final people paying memberships, registration to fish will be from 5 to 5:45 at Southside Landing. We will have a rules meeting shortly after. We will release. Starting time will be at 6:30. Fishing will stop at 2:30. Got to be in weigh-in line by 3:30. Looks like we have about 27 in both divisions currently. I'm expecting several more tomorrow, Friday, and even Saturday morning. So I'm looking like we're going to get close to that 35. We're shooting for 40. We'd love to have 40. If we get 13 more in besides what we got, we'll hit that 40 mark. And that would be our biggest tournament in 2 years since we got started. And that's about all that I have. That's recognize the sponsors, the host, hit on a few things for qualifications. If you got anything to add to that.
Well, I mean, I don't know. Have you looked at the weather? I don't really know what the weather's going to be down there this weekend.
It showed 40 something in the morning and 60 for the 67 or 68 for the high, but I didn't see about the wind. I didn't see it at what I looked at. I didn't see where it had how much the wind was going to be.
I know it's raining up here, but I ain't checked to see if it was raining down there. We kind of getting that circumstance we did a couple years ago. It was rolling pretty good down there, which I realized that was December. We haven't got a lot of rain, so I don't know that we would get enough rain between now and then to create that kind of situation. Because last year the river and everything was just fine. So
It shows 68 with a northeast wind at 4 for Saturday, is what the weather that I see
it may be a
shows. Shows
pretty
like
good weather day.
42 that morning.
Yeah, I see.
And last year, I know people was worried about raising the water. I didn't even ask Southside with Michael if the water's raised or not. But I hadn't heard nobody talk about it being super low. So I just know by middle of November, they usually raise it back up.
That I don't know. Uh, Tim said Saturday. Looks like Saturday will be good, and I guess it is raining down there right now. But it might probably if it gets some rain though, it might help the fishing really.
Well, it might make the
What I've
water a
been
little
waiting on,
murky, so they'll bite better.
maybe. Uh, Maybe they will. You got anything you want to say, Dawson?
No.
No. You just want to sit there in the camera the whole time and watch.
Well, we will pay one in every
Tim said
five
it's about a
spots and
foot
get
low.
listed. Do what?
Tim said it was about a foot low. So
About a foot low. Well, that's pretty good.
it'll be a little low, but it won't
When
be
I
too
was down there last year to meet with them in October, it's like 4 or 5 foot low, but they said it would be back up by
yeah.
November.
I guess you touched on most everything on the Division Two. Kind of that was the big question. Do we have any host hotels for this one?
Uh, the Hampton Inn, I had 139 a night, but I had a few people that had called and they wasn't giving them that rate. I called back. I think Mr. Jones that had registered there told him they had a glitch in the system. That's what they told me, and they got it straightened out. So anybody still looking for a room, call the Hampton Inn. It's the one at the Gadsden Atala I-59 exit. I would say it's about 7, 8 minutes from the boat ramp, if I remember correctly. 139 a night. I've got it listed under Alabama Crappie Trail, Keith Cole, and like I said, it's supposed to be 139. If you call tonight and have issues, call me on my phone and I'll call again. But they're supposed to have all the glitches worked out.
I guess that's where we'll be at. Ain't it? We'll be the
It
Hampton.
is. It is. We were there last year and it was nice and didn't have no issues. They had places to charge batteries for the boats.
Tim said last year the reason it was like that when you was down there in October, that was a maintenance level, and it would be a few years before they do that again.
Will they do that again? Okay.
It's getting pretty bad up here. Wind's blowing like crazy.
It was blowing about 20 mile an hour here in Madison.
I don't really have nothing to add to it. I mean, mostly, that was what it was going to be about, and thanking those for letting us come back, and I guess the biggest thing from a safety standpoint, for those that haven't been on Neely, pretty much if you stay in the main channel on the river, you're going to be pretty good. Pay attention to that on your mapping. So,
I did have a few questions today. I forgot text messages. I asked, can you use live bait? Yes, you can use minnows. They asked what they could have in the boat. As far as I know, Neely, we can have our 8 rods. You can fish with 8 rods, especially for the ones that spider rigging or long lining. If you want to, it's 4 per person, but a total of 8. We will go with 9 inch as a state limit on the length. When we weigh, we'll weigh 5 fish. Got to be 5 live ones that you bring to the weigh-in line. We'll have somebody to check them, give you a little paper to give me when you come up for the weigh-in. Um, just use the standard of fishing regulations here in Alabama, boating regulations here in Alabama when you're out on the water. I say wear the life jacket when the gasoline motor is on and you're traveling down the river or down
Three,
the lake.
three per person.
3 per person?
Yeah, that's what Tim.
Okay, I thought Weiss was, but I thought last year they said Neely you could use 4. But if he says 3, that's what it'll be.
Yeah, yeah. Well, if we hadn't nearly forgot about it, we could have got somebody on here that would have known. So,
Oh yeah.
but it was a little hadn't even thought nothing about it. Really didn't. Been busy with other things, and I'm about forgot what week it was in general. Um,
So Mr. Tim said it's 3 per person and a total of 6 boat on the boat for the rods out. That don't mean you can't have 10 rods in a boat, but you can only have a total of 6 if you got a partner out at one time.
well, that's pretty well. It wasn't gonna matter anyways because there ain't gonna be probably a lot of teams will be uh, probably gonna be one pole anyhow. Live scoping, but we do have some teams that push and pull, and long line, spider rig, so forth and so on. So that's
Well,
actually
any of y'all that's watching got friends, I mean, invite them. I know you have to come join us. It's a $50 annual membership. I think our fees to fish the tournaments is very reasonable. I know it might not be as cheap as some of the club trails, but the club trails don't pay $2,500 for Division One or 1,000 for Division Two, and that's guaranteed first place money. And the following payouts will be based on the number of entries in each division. So just remember, Division One is a $2,500 check. Division Two is $1,000 first place check. Looks like Division Two at the moment is going to pay 2 spots, and looks like we're getting very close for 4 spots in Division Two. I mean Division One, because we had I think 17 on the board later this afternoon.
so
And then the championship, I know it was some people had some questions about the payout on the championship. The championship in next November will pay 5 grand to first place, pay 2 grand as Division One, $5,000 for first place. Division Two will get $2,000 for first place. I know last year we wanted to pay 5, and I think we ended up paying 4, but it's because people did not put the money in that they were supposed to. This year have already got that guaranteed for those 2 spots.
yeah, and then to touch on that uh, about the Coosa having their, but yeah, they are launching out a canoe. Going to have their classic. It's going to be on Saturday as well. I'm not really sure. I guess there's still for people that wanted to fish both, a little bit of conflict on the fishing times and you know being at two different locations on the same lake. Um, but we had already got approval on a certain date, and then their schedule came out, and we was already at Southside. So I mean, it's kind of happened. Seems like about it wherever we go. It's actually a crappie tournament this time, and not a bass derby rolling in on us. Um,
Well, I
at
mean,
boat
last
ramps and
year
stuff.
when we had the tournament last November, Miss Dana asked, would we come back this year? And I told her, yes, if they wanted us to come back, we'd be more than happy to come back. And they approved ours like in December, late December. So we knew that we were going back on the 16th. I just didn't have the full tournament schedule out because it was hard to get monies to go places, and it seemed like it's getting harder. People don't understand it. Just come fish. It's a whole lot to get these places to put up some money and get sponsors in, and sometimes it's like pulling teeth. And I know we wouldn't have as many boats show up if we was only paying $400 or $500 for first place, like the club trails, or $600-700 for first place. So I'm tickled with our payouts this year. It's come a long way since year one, and we start in year three and hope next year will be as good or better than the last three.
Well, I mean, and two, from we would like to see, a tournament or two go farther south as well. Just as much I think as some of the southern guys would, but we it ain't we haven't had much luck. It's going to take some help. We got to go to Miller's Ferry last year, but that was because of Big Daddy. Um, and with his passing, that kind of was the connection there, and then the turnout wasn't very well, so they didn't seem to. Well, I don't guess they ever responded back, did they? About a
No, I sent that to the guy that was over it. Actually, I went through 5 different people from the time I started last year to the one that ended up getting me the check. And then when I messaged back about this year, he didn't have anything to do with the chamber no more. And he sent it to the two ladies, but neither one of the ladies responded back.
yeah. So it's
And
kind
I
of
sent
just
a couple of emails, but no response.
pretty much been dead.
And I mean, the turnout, I understand we didn't have a huge turnout for that one. So I do understand from the business standpoint.
And then Avery said you follow, and we had done tried on that one quite a few occasions, and um, they're wanting to pay by the boat, and what they're wanting to give by the boat, they ain't gonna cover no payouts, and then they was gonna cap it off for way less than what we really needed. So unless we could find some outside money, kind of like with that Bankhead tournament, that ain't coming from a chamber. Um, but I haven't really had no success with drumming up money from businesses the way that one worked out, because that was kind of through Shane Jones and John Fomar, with the crappie cast. It's kind of how all that came to fruition, and they helped kind of get that one going for that Bankhead tournament. So it doesn't really matter where the money comes from if we can just get the money to, be ideal that we could get the money from outside and be able to choose lakes and have more flexibility. Uh, and then it would be a benefit to the communities. You ain't taking money from the communities to do it. So, um, and to like to say, I like going new places. I know there's a lot of guys that fish the trail that do. So, it'd be nice. Which would always be a new place for. I know us. I don't know about everybody. For 26, that one's already locked in. They locked that in. I guess you said for March of next year. So
I
that's
think,
going to be a
yes,
new
March of
location
next year.
uh, on the map, and I'm sure you'll still see some of our day one. It's kind of hard to walk away from some of them to go elsewhere, and you know when they're putting up the money and they've supported it since the beginning. So, thought maybe this year less tournaments might help take some of the pressure off of people trying to make more tournaments and more expense. Make it a little better, but hopefully the economy and things will take a turn and make things more affordable for everybody across the board, and everybody have a little bit more money in the pocket to travel and do more. I think most everybody enjoys it to go and do it, but got to have the funding to do it. Though.
That's true.
So, and then I know this is outside the subject, but and they announced Midwest is coming to Pickwick, so it's going to be Savannah, Tennessee, so it's not really Alabama, but you know, but it is coming back down to the south, really farther south than they've been at any point. So that was kind of exciting to see that coming in October next year. Well, you got anything else? Uh,
No, I've hit on pretty much the hot questions that had been asked. I want to thank all of the sponsors. I want to thank all of the host sponsors again, all of the people that's involved with the host locations. Like I said, if it wasn't for our sponsors and our host locations, we wouldn't be on here tonight having a tournament in a couple of days. So thank everybody again. I want to thank all the anglers for fishing because that's what makes the trail go. We got to have the sponsors to sponsor it and fund it, and we got to have all of y'all out there, all the guys and the gals, come and fish. And looks like we might have 4 or 5 husband wife teams this year in both divisions. That's a good thing. Look like we might have 3 or 4 kids fishing in tournaments this year. That'll be a little more competition for wives.
I know, and looks like some people's been checked out, but anybody that's got video clips, content, we do got a TikTok page now that thing's been growing on its own. It ain't really put out a lot of content, but we're pretty close. Got to have 1,000 followers to be able to stream through that platform as well. When we do these lives, but if you haven't already, go follow the TikTok page, and share some content. And we're gonna try to work on getting some like intro videos. As we come on, you know, and it kind of like a commercial segment, but have some action clips in there. We don't have a camera boat on the water chasing down on tournament day, so um, anybody got content that they'd be willing to share, send the videos to me or him or to the Alabama Crappie Trail Facebook page, directly through Messenger, however you want to do it, will be fine to let us put together, stuff for that to kind of add to the content. Try to help grow it, there on especially for TikTok, we're, you know, last I looked, we was getting close to 750 followers and really hadn't done nothing with the page. So I'd like to kind of keep that traction going and might reach some people through that platform that we're not reaching, through Facebook. So, uh, if we could pick up
We
a
have
team or
about
two through
30,
that, that's adding a team or two. So,
we have 30, about 3,300 followers on the Facebook page. And
yep,
there's a lot of people that follow the Facebook page or look at the Facebook page, but they just haven't followed it yet. I've sent a lot of invites when I see you on there. So click that accept and let's boost those numbers up too, because the more followers we have, the better it is for the host locations and our sponsors
yep.
um, on the outside too. But that's all I've got. Thank everybody that come on and um, everybody have a safe trip to Neely and we'll see you on Friday.
Thank y'all.